Well, this is a little bit different. Hey everybody, today I thought we'd do something that could be a little bit fun, a little bit adjacent to motion pictures, but still in the music realm. We are going to look at the 15 songs, not themes, not the theme from Jaws, not the theme from Halloween, but songs that as soon as you hear them played on the radio, as soon as you heard them anywhere, the first thing you would do is think of the motion picture they came from. You cannot distinguish in your head between the song and the movie. As soon as you hear it, you are pulled back to being in the theater or watching TV and seeing the imagery of that motion picture before your very eyes. And so, today, here we go. Oh, and by the way, there are a couple quick rules that I threw in here. One is it can't be from a musical, because you can't have a Sound of Music from A Sound of Music. And you can't have the song Grease from Grease. They have to be songs that are just in the motion picture, not being performed in the motion picture. So that also ruled out things like, Purple Rain from Purple Rain and stuff like that. These are just songs that are in the motion picture that take you to that special place. Anyway, without further ado, here we go. Number 15, we are looking at Don't Box Me In from Stan Ridgway and Stuart Copeland from that awesome motion picture that we all know and love, Rumblefish. As soon as you hear that wild percussion, as soon as you hear those weird lyrics and basically the dictation, the way he sings of Stan Ridgway, you are right back into Rumblefish. You see Mickey Rourke, you see Mitt Dillon, you see all that shit in your head. It's almost unescapable. It's just the way it goes. Number 14. Whoa, this is going to go back to a motion picture that kind of sucked. But as soon as I hear the song, I think of the motion picture. We are talking about Magic by Olivia Newton-John. Going all the way back to that horrible motion picture that destroyed the career of Michael Beck, we are talking Xanadu. Yes, the motion picture was shit. Nobody cares about it. Gene Kelly, a roller derby, God's sisters, whatever. I don't know what the hell was going on in this flick. It doesn't really make a difference. But it did have some good songs, and as soon as you hear Magic, you think to yourself, hey, Xanadu. You can't help it. It is what it is. Okay, yes, sometimes it does actually help when you actually have the title of the movie in the songs, and that's going to happen numerous times here. So now we're going all the way back to a song by Eddie Rabbitt, or performed by Eddie Rabbitt. I can't remember if he wrote it or not. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, we're talking Every Which Way But Loose from Every Which Way But Loose. Come on, it's a great song. You all remember it. You all know it. And as soon as you hear it, you just start picturing Philo Beddoe in that truck. You start picturing Sandra Locke looking fairly cute. And you start picturing Clyde the monkey running around doing anything. Well, orangutan, okay? Don't get all fucking specific on me. Anyway, you picture it in your head. You picture the Black Widow motorcycle gang, and you start just to smile to yourself. It's just the way it goes. It's just the way it is. It's classic. On to number 12. This was kind of tight, because there's actually another song from this motion picture that makes me think of it even more. But we're going to go with the big hit. Why not? We Don't Need Another Hero. Tina Turner. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Remember? It was a big hit. Actually, I think the song One of the Living is actually a better tune, and I actually like it more. But it is what it is. This is the one that everybody's always going to remember, being like, as soon as you hear it, as soon as you see it, you're all the way back, you're going through the desert, you see Max, you see the kids, you see shit blowing up. It's just the way it goes. It's one of those motion pictures that's married to the song, or vice versa, shall I say, and, well, it's historic. Number 11. Come on, Arizona Noon on the 7th of June. Are you shitting me? We are talking about Convoy by C.W. McCall for the movie Convoy. Well, actually, the song was around kind of before the movie, but you get the idea. It is what it is. You can't help it, man. Every time they would have one of those breaks in the movie where they would do like kind of a montage, and you'd see the trucks firing up, and you'd hear his voice, and he would just start saying some shit. And he actually narrated kind of the motion picture. It is what it is. The song Convoy is classic. The movie Convoy is classic. One of Peckinpah's probably last great thing. It is what it is. Convoy. All right, we're going into the Big Ten. And another motion picture that had a title in the song. It is what it is. But we're talking about Flash by Queen for the song, for the movie, pardon me, Flash Gordon. Come on. I mean, I'm not saying it was one of Queen's best songs by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not even saying it was one of the best songs on this friggin' list. But as soon as you hear that song, you automatically thought Flash Gordon. You started to see the motion picture play in your head. This was of the era too where the music videos started to get locked in there, and the music video had imagery from the movie, so it all starts to be part of your subconscious, and it is part of what you remember. So, Flash Gordon with the song Flash by Queen, Married, you can't pull them apart. Number 9, this might be one that people forgot. We're talking about Invincible by Pat Benatar for the legend of Billie Jean. Come on, it was a great tune. The movie was all right, you know what I mean? Helen Slater or Christian Slater or whatever. The movie was fairly solid and enjoyable. It was of its time. It was of its ilk. But in it and pumping through it, and it had a music video for it, you had that great song Invincible by Pat Benatar and, of course, Neil Giraldo. It was what it was. One of those marriages, they go together, you hear that, you just start to see Helen Slater, and then you see her with the haircut and the whole thing in your mind. They're joined, just the way it goes. Number 8, for me, this might not be a big one, but for me it'll always be. I cannot hear Burn by The Cure without seeing The Crow in my head. I just can't do it. I can't do it. It's literally, as soon as that thing comes on, all I'm picturing is Brandon Lee, trench coat, bird on his shoulder, hair hanging down, fucking makeup on his face, doing the whole Eric Draven thing. I can't separate the two. I don't care where it is. If that thing comes on the radio or in my playlist or whatever, it is going to go directly to that motion picture. I'm literally talking about I will forget the song. I go to the motion picture. There you go. Number 7, we are talking about Eastbound and Down, Loaded Up and Truckin'. Jerry Reed, Smokey and the Bandit. Come on. That was such a feel-good fucking goddamn song. It was such a tune that as soon as you heard it, you wanted to go on an adventure with a friend in a big rig and running from cops and delivering some whiskey. It was one of those things. It was upbeat. It was fast. It was fun, just like the motion picture. It made you feel good, just like the motion picture. And it was an exciting ride. So, you can't pull the two of them apart. You hear that, all of a sudden you're, that crazy laugh. You see the T-top tranny with Burt Reynolds and Sally in it. It's just the way it goes. Joined at the hip. And there you are. Number 6. I guess you had to be there. This is of its time. We are talking about The Glory of Love, Peter Cetera, The Karate Kid 2. You cannot tell me, as soon as you hear that song, you do not think of that motion picture. It just goes together. They're like bread and butter, milk and honey. Wait, is that real? I don't know, but I'm talking, I'm rolling, I don't give a shit. It's those things that go together. You know what I mean. When you hear that song, you all of a sudden start seeing imagery in your head of Ralph Macchio and Chosen and all that kind of shit taking place. It is, I think her name was Talent Tamita was the girl too. Anyway, you start to see that in your head, and it's just a marriage made. It's just the way it goes. Number 5, from a band you know I love, Staying Alive, Saturday Night Fever, The Bee Gees. Come on. As soon as you hear Staying Alive, you are transported to Brooklyn, to a nightclub with a bunch of kind of jerk-offs dancing all night with a bunch of wild chicks. You can't pull them apart. You start to see the Travolta feet walking down the street. In your mind, it's burnt in there. You can't shake it. It is what it is. It's a little marriage made in heaven. It was a monster-selling album of a monster sales movie. It was what it was. One of those things, you can't pull the two of them apart, just the way it goes. Number 4. What? Again, this is that early mid-'80s time when everything had a cool song to it and everything was kind of joined at the hip. We are talking about Man in Motion, John Parr, St. Elmo's Fire. I don't care if you like the movie or not. I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm just saying it's there. It's one of those motion pictures. It's one of those songs that are just together, joined at the hip. You still have the music video in your head and or in your mind, and you can't shake the fact that, you know, you see the Rat Pack in there, you see the whole thing, and he actually put St. Elmo's Fire in there the words in there. It's what it is. It's of its time, and that song will always be married to that motion picture. You will think of that song and think of the movie, probably think of the movie more during the song than the song itself, just the way it goes. Number 3. Come on. I'm not saying the movie was my thing by any stretch of the imagination, but you have to be honest. I had the time of my life. Bill Medley, Jennifer Warren, from Dirty Dancing. It was everywhere. Everywhere. And as soon as you hear that song, as soon as you hear it, you picture whoever Patrick Swayze played, and you picture Baby and all that kind of shit, and it's in your mind. My wife has watched that movie about 4 million times. I couldn't shake the imagery from my head if I wanted to. It is what it is. We are talking about, at the time of my life, we're going to talk about Dirty Dancing, and you can't pull them apart. You think of one, you see the other, just the way it goes. Number 2. This really probably should be my number 1. Honestly, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, but I don't care. I'm just going to spit it out. Went to the theaters and seen it. Loved the song. We're talking about Don't You Forget About Me by the Simple Minds from The Breakfast Club. It is how it is. If that song comes on, boom, I'm transported back to that time in my life. I immediately go back to 1985. I immediately start thinking of that movie. I actually start thinking about being in the motion picture theater, watching the motion picture when that song pops up in my head. It's a memory. It's baked into the cake. As soon as I hear it, as soon as I see it, it just is what it is, everybody. It was a big hit movie. It was a huge hit song. They had a great another tune called Alive and Kickin', by the way, that I thought that was great. Anyway, I know they didn't write this song. It doesn't make a difference. But Don't You Forget About Me is just one of those songs. As soon as I hear it, I'm not only transported to that motion picture, I'm transported back to that moment in time of where I was watching the motion picture. So, little match made in heaven, I guess. And let me throw out a couple honorable mentions for you guys. You know, a couple that almost made the list but didn't make the list but could have been on the list. We're talking about Jean Beauvoir, Feel the Heat from Cobra. Great song, kick-ass flick, fun time. And still to this day, that song is on an album called Drums Along the Mohawk. Get It. Great record. Great record that gets criminally overlooked. Anyway, Jean Beauvoir, whatever. I always screw up his name still after 40 years. That song, to me, as soon as I hear it, I see the Stallone, I see his awesome 50, and I see Brigitte Nielsen, and I see that big guy that I can't remember his name right now who's been in other movies like Mortal Kombat, and I see crazy shit taking place. They're just married at the hip. And also, you can probably throw in there Burning Heart by Survivor from Rocky IV. Yep. I mean, it's one of those songs you hear, you start seeing him battling a Russian and going on and that shit. You can't pull it away from the movie. Isn't my favorite song now, but it's married to that movie and it'll always be that way. Wait a minute, I just had to add this in as an afterthought. I should have put in When Doves Cry by Prince, because Purple Rain was a performance thing, so it couldn't be on this list. But remember, When Doves Cry was just in the background music, and you cannot disassociate that song from that motion picture. So honorable mention belongs there too. Okay, number 1. Speaking of Survivor, although with a different singer, it is physically impossible to think of Eye of the Tiger without seeing the motion picture Rocky III playing in your head. You can't do it without seeing Stallone and Mr. T slugging it out, without seeing Stallone and Carl Weathers working out. They are united. United. Always and always will be. I cannot distinguish that song from that movie at all. The song comes on, I'm almost not even listening to it. I'm just seeing the movie rolling in my head with this as a soundtrack behind it. It's just the way it goes. They're so intertwined. And it was one of those first ones that was like that big major, bam, we're going to hit you with this song from this motion picture and it will be burnt into your skull forever. It was a brilliant move putting it in there. Brilliant thought by Stallone when he heard these guys. It was something that just worked, and you cannot deny it. Okay, everybody, if there's anything I missed, throw it on in there in the comment section. Let me hear it. Let me know it. It's okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what you were into. Let me know of a movie and a song that are married in your brain that you can't pull them apart. At another point, we're going to do something a little bit different. Maybe with just ones from musicals. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. We're going to do all kinds of weird shit on the station. I don't care. Anyway, be good. Take care. Stay out of trouble. Be kind to a stranger. Be there for a friend. And more than anything, ever, let me say it real loud, never take any bullshit from anybody. See you soon.